Hello everyone, my name's Jed. So it's here, the year of all the Batmans. Keaton's back, Affleck's back, Pattinson makes his debut, we also get some animated stuff, I think, and a video game, probably. There's a particular aspect of Batman's story that I'm obsessed with. I'm sure you can tell from the video's title what that is. Batman's one rule, that Batman does not kill. Except when he does. Keaton, he's been killed since '89. And Affleck loves a machine gun or two. Robert Pattinson has said in a recent interview that his Batman doesn't kill, which is great news. So I wanted to make this video to explain why that's such great news. To explain why Batman must not kill. Whether that be in movies, comics, TV shows, or video games. Here's a list of reasons why. We'll start with an easy one. It's why he dresses like a bat. So the point of him dressing like a bat is to gain the tactical advantage he needs over the maniacs and murderers of Gotham. People who are willing to cross lines Bruce isn't. If Bruce is willing to cross that line, why wouldn't he just use a gun? Because Gunman doesn't have the same ring to it. It kind of picks apart the whole gimmick and appeal of Batman. We want to see Batman scare the crap out of him before he kicks the crap out of him. Another huge part of Batman's story is him travelling the world. For nearly a decade, Bruce seeks out the greatest minds in criminology, forensics, engineering, as well as mastering every style of combat possible, perfecting himself mentally, physically, putting himself through hell so that he can become a demon. The reason he does all of this is because he doesn't just want to stop criminals, and he's not just trying to kick 10 shades of shit out of them. He's trying to save them. Not only is he trying to save them, but he has a compulsion to. He can't help but want to save them. Because so many of Batman's villains are victims like Bruce. Victims of the hellscape that is Gotham City. Harvey Dent has acid thrown in his face by the mob and becomes Two-Face. Victor Freeze is attacked in his own cryogenics lab while he's trying to save his terminally ill wife. Pamela Isley is an environmentalist driven to extremes. Kirk Langstrom turns into Man-Bat after an experiment to cure hearing loss goes wrong. The list goes on and on. Who would Batman be if he didn't give these people a chance? He'd be the monster so many people think he is. But he isn't. He made a promise.
Wait. Why do you do what you do?
Because I made a promise.
Bruce made a promise to his parents that he would rid the city of the evil that took their lives. He could never fulfill that promise by doing evil. Only by fighting it. Speaking of evil, the Joker. The best reason. Batman and Joker's legendary conflict has been going on for nearly a century, and the feud is never better than when Batman doesn't kill. It's the heart of the rivalry, the thing that gives their fight meaning. It informs everything they do. Because, fundamentally, Batman believes that every bad person can be saved, or at least show some kind of contrition. And the Joker believes that every good person is corruptible, incapable of evil. What's so fantastic is that they're both wrong, because they're both dealing in absolutes, and nobody proves the Joker wrong more than Batman, and nobody proves Batman wrong more than the Joker, because the Joker can never corrupt Batman, and Batman can never save the Joker, which is why they're destined to do this forever. That line from The Dark Knight is so iconic because it perfectly describes how Batman and Joker are locked in an eternal war for the souls of the people of Gotham City. When that movie was released back in 2008, the word meta wasn't really part of people's vocabulary. But looking back, that line is so meta because he's not just referring to these versions of the characters, but all of them, past, present, and future. Outstanding.
I can take it. I can take anything you throw at me, Bats. You can't beat me. I'm actually going to win. Ready for the next round?
Always.
What?
I'll never let you win. Never.
It's the whole point of the story. The core of the Batman story is the moral conflict within Bruce, as he tries to find the balance between his demon's desire for revenge and Bruce's need for justice. Without Batman's rule, there is no conflict. It becomes a straightforward revenge story. When it comes down to it, without Batman's no-kill rule, so much of his story gets left behind. His conflicts with all of his villains become as generic as Iron Man fighting another Iron Man, or Ant-Man fighting that little yellow dude. To my mind, Batman is the closest thing we have to a mythic figure in the 21st century. He's, in essence, the American god of endurance, and his story is a test he faces along the way, whether he's been tested mentally, physically, emotionally, or ideologically. The story is whether he's up to the challenge, because if he isn't, then the story ends with a whimper, and nobody wants that. For Batman to take on true mythic status, Batman must not kill. Suspension of disbelief. I wanted to leave this till last because it's probably the most complicated element, and it's also in two parts. The first is more story based, and the second more logical. Let's start with the first one, as you do. So whenever you consume a piece of fiction, you are suspending your disbelief. To use a few examples in the comic book genre, let's say Spider-Man and Wonder Woman. When you watch a Spider-Man movie, you've already bought into the idea that a teenage boy that was bitten by a radioactive spider can now stick to walls. Or with Wonder Woman, you accept that you're watching a story about an Amazonian demigoddess who has a magic robe that compels people to tell the truth. It's all a part of an over-the-top fantasy, much like Batman's no-kill rule. Batman's no-kill rule is equally a part of the fantasy as his gadgets or his ability to clear a room with 30 armed guards using only his fists. I think maybe because so many of Batman's stories have a hyper-reality, grounded type setting, some people have trouble delineating between the fantasy and the reality. I suppose Batman's no-kill rule is more fantastical than the other elements, but in my opinion, it's nothing more or nothing less than the element that facilitates all the most compelling aspects of Batman's story. The second part has to do with writers and directors, or whatever they may be, asking too much of their audience. If you think about the Dark Knight trilogy or the Arkham games, both those depict Batman as non-lethal, but when you fire missiles at cars and sending them flying, then watching the people in the car climb out in the Arkham Knight, or when Bruce is blowing up monitors in Batman Begins, or the truck flip in the Dark Knight, it becomes quite difficult to believe that Batman isn't just wasting these people. The story might be telling you that he isn't, but your eyes don't lie. I'm someone who's fairly lenient and will let lots of things go within reason, but I completely understand when people can't. I think maybe creators and fans need to meet in the middle. Creators need to stop asking too much of their audiences, and fans maybe need to stop being so pedantic. Right, that's it. That's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leaving a like would be fantastic. And leaving a comment if you can think of better reasons than I can. You almost certainly can. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care. Bye.